Hello. All right. So, um, I was. I just wanted to make a second video. So pretty much like the first one was kind of just practice, and then I just kind of wanted to talk, cause like I don't really talk to too many people here, like in English and like all the stuff I think about. And I was kind of just thinking about how this is kind of cool, like going on YouTube and like finding your people who like um, click with you or like feel you, and then they're like, "Oh, this guy's cool," da, 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 and then telling them your like problems and stuff with like what you're doing right now. So, well, pretty much the what's on my mind is pretty much just like message boards still, cause like I still like message boards, and then like I was just going through the notions of like just like screen names, like finding your perfect screen name, cause like you need to have a cool creative screen name for YouTube. And like my favorite one right now is Psych to Go, just cause it's like so short. You're like, oh, Psych to Go, and like her voice is like really nice. She sounds really Asian, and I don't know. I'm just trying to like ramble and like come up with thoughts about like I was thinking of YouTube video ideas, and I was just thinking like, I can keep on writing in a journal. But I was like, why don't you just keep doing this, John? Just keep videotaping yourself and like recording and just talking and talking and talking, and something will like come out, or like maybe you'll make like a perfect video or something. And I was a little too animated in the last one, so I'm trying to be more like subdued. And I'm trying to just talk how I really want to talk, like, which is like a little bit kind of. It's not even like people. I just feel like people is like, so you want to talk like ghetto and like street, and then I'm like, no, I want to talk in like this, in like my weird like Joker voice in my head, which is so hilarious, but like it doesn't really translate well to video, so I try not to do that. But yeah. Um, and the ideas I was talking about was, well, I was just kind of thinking about YouTube in general. I was like, my favorite videos are like smoking videos, when it's just like a chill ass person just smoking a cigarette and they're not talking, and you can kind of like smoke a cigarette with them. Like, you can like puff one up and like watch them, so you kind of have someone to smoke with. So that's like my number one favorite video. And my other favorite video is like this one dude. He seems kind of like he's like Finnish or something, and like he's like in his home library, and he like talks for 2 hour videos about stuff. Like one time he was talking about like male locker room etiquette or sort of lifestyle or something, and I was like, what is this dude talking about? But the video length was 2 hours, and I was like, whoa, that's kind of cool. I didn't finish the video though, like, but I was just like, whoa, that's kind of cool. And I was thinking, I want to be on all social media platforms. Like, I was thinking, I was going through the list, and I was like, oh, I want to do Insta first, and then I'm going to do something else. This is like the only one I know. But yeah, there's another one. It was like Instagram and like Snapchat, and there's like another one. Oh, Twitter. And then I was like, I'm gonna do Insta first, and then Twitter, and then like TikTok is like last on my list. It's that bottom bitch platform, and I kind of want to concentrate on YouTube just because it's been there my whole life and I use it the most because like it's cool. You get to watch free videos. Usually I just watch it for music videos, but I started searching for strange things and I found people just like rambling to like a video diary and I thought that was cool. So I was like, I'm gonna do that. Yeah. But basically, I just wanna like do the social media thing and get out there and like I don't know, cause like I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay, John, like you like Survivor and you're such a big fan, and you feel like you can talk to anyone, and you're personable, affable, likable, and you're popular in your own head, and like you're good looking and like you feel like you can talk to anyone, get them to like you, trust you, da da da. And then like you feel like you can do that on in person. You feel like you can do that in person with other people, IRL. And you feel like you can do that online, like with other screen names floating around. It's so easy for you. But when it comes to YouTube and it's just you in a room with just a video camera and you don't have that other person reacting, like how are you going to present yourself, or like what is you gonna do, you know? So I was just thinking about that and I was like, okay, cool, challenge. And then undertaken, and then I was just like thinking about it. I was like, oh, that's cool, I can do that. And then I'm just gonna treat it like a confessional, you know, and Survivor, how they're like kind of looking off to the side. Maybe that's why I prefer looking at myself and like it looks like I'm looking off to the side instead of at the camera lens because of Survivor. But yeah. And then I guess the first thing that comes to mind is just like, I don't want to keep on saying it, but we growing up in high school, we didn't have illness, mental, you know, like we just never knew about it. And pretty much it's just the same old high school drama that goes on. And like I can just tell like the elephant in the room right now with like people in general is just like social media, and like I don't want to show my face, and like I don't want to go on camera and tell everybody my opinions personal, because like first of all, I don't want to edit out stuff that makes me look like gay, or like that makes me like your mannerisms or like idiosyncrasies that only you're used to when you're by yourself, and when other people see that they're like, wow, they're weird because they're doing weird things in their room. And I'm like, yeah, we do weird things in our room when we're by ourselves. And they're like, I don't want to tell people my personal opinions because I don't want to offend people in general, and like I might blurt something out that I didn't really mean to say because I'm so nervous and I'm not an actor, and you know, and I'm just like, who cares, you know? It's just for fun. If you're a cool person, you're never gonna say anything, you know? And like the number one thing I want to talk about is just about San Francisco and being high and like smoking weed and all that stuff and all the fun things I did growing up that I don't do anymore, consequently, because just for a reason, you know, I just don't do it anymore. So right now, for the record, I'm not high, I'm not on drugs, I'm not smoking weed anymore. So the only thing I smoke is cigarettes. There, I said it. You know, I drink occasionally, but not every night. And I'm just a normal person now, you know. Because my friends, like, get jabs in on me. They're like, you are a drug user, and you go online, and you act kind of like weird. And I'm like, no, I don't. That's just in your head, you crazy fuck. And, yeah, I have all these, like, theories in my head. I'm just like, sober people who have never been perfect, they're just like so weird, and like you've never smoked weed before, or like, you know. And I just feel like stoner jokes or stoner humor is what I meant to say. Stoner humor is like the American cul-de-sac of conversation. Is just like stoner words or stoner terms that have come into our conversations just like normal, just because like when you're talking to someone older, like your employer, like obviously they grew up in the 60s 70s where that was normal, and they kind of hyped it up, you know, like free love, running around naked in a commune in the 60s, and like all that stuff is normal to them and their generation. But when they see you, someone younger, they're like, why are you into stoning? And they're like, oh my god, I am so like a narc. And you know, they think stuff like that about you. And I noticed the best way to get with a white dude is bring up the topic of being a stoner, and they're like, oh my god, dude, like, what do you do? And then you just kind of shoot the breeze, and like that's it just takes off from there. And it even works with white girls too, because they're like cool of that. And then it works with Asians, it works with blacks, it works with Mexicans. Everyone smokes weed. And like yeah, but that's like so American. It's just like stoner humor. And I could bring up examples, but like I just want to say it because like I am from San Francisco. Like I wasn't born there, but I grew up there from like the age of 3 until I was 29, and I moved to Las Vegas for like a school year. But I came back, and yeah, it's just a part of life there, and we think we are the shit when it comes to weed. Like, no offense to anyone else. I know everyone's like, but what about Amsterdam? And I'm just like, whatever. We're just like, whatever. Like, we're so high we don't know anywhere else outside of the Golden Gates of San Francisco. Like, we don't venture out of the village, you know. And you can smoke weed and do whatever you want to do. You can garden, you can cook, you can raise a family, you can be a workaholic, you can enjoy your video games, and it just enhances the experience. But I don't do it anymore. Cause like it's so scary when you smoke too much and you freak out. It's so scary, especially when you're by yourself. Like, that's happened to me so many times, especially because I'm on the computer and I'm looking at like stoner documentaries, and it's like this grizzly white fellow, and he has like this pepper, salt, and white and black beard, and he's just so stoned out of his mind, and he looks like he lives in a hole like Saddam Hussein, and but he's like a cool guy, and you're like, oh, and he has stuff to say, but just not taking care of yourself, like especially when you grow older, it's a little bit kind of frightening, I think, you know. My type, there's so many different types of stoners. My type of stoner was just like good neighbor boy. That was my type of stoner. Is just like, no one knows I smoke, first of all, so I hid it from everybody. And I would go outside, clean the yard, bring in the garbage, go to school, make sure everyone heard my car turn on at 7:30 so they know I'm leaving for college class and like be back home. Always come back home every night, you know. There are a few occasions where I didn't, but always be in bed by 4:30 or at least before the sun comes up. There was a few times where I stayed up late playing games, but it was like once I was playing Dragon Quest 8. And yeah, so I was like the good neighbor boy. And yeah, that was like my whole thing is just like looking preppy and like the whole college thing. It was like cool, you know. It's like being smart but dumb because you went to like city college. But so that's where all the cute girls are is community college, and they're let down, you know. I'm playing with my lighter right now in my left hand. But yeah, all the fun things we did, I think about it constantly because it's so much fun. Like sometimes I'll admit I do get like down and I'm like thinking about stuff negatively, and I don't fix it, but later on when I'm in a good mood, I just don't even think about negative stuff. But my whole thing is like don't be a buzzkill, you know, like everyone's tripping out, man, and you're like blowing like a yellow balloon in the corner of the basement and everyone's looking at you and you're like, I'm so high as you like turn to everyone else and everyone's just like, get out, like don't do that. And like stoner humor is so hilarious because when you like blurt it out, when you admit to yourself even in your own head, the worst is when you say stuff out loud, but when you admit to yourself you're like, I'm so high, it's like just crawl into bed, don't even do anything anymore for the rest of the day. But yeah, stoners loathe talking out loud because there's so much weird crap going on in their head. And they're so quiet because they're trying to find that one sentence they can say out loud without freaking out everyone else. You know, they're like, don't sing a Beatles song randomly. And then they're just like, oh yeah, ice cream. And person's like vanilla. And then white girls just like green. And then Asians just like passing around the joint. The Asians do all the slave work. They're just like doing everything with the weed buds. Asian dudes. Asian girls are the laziest stoners. They're just like, come over, bring some weed, smoke it for me, wipe my ass, and then we're just like, okay. And they're like, I'll treat you out, and then you're like, okay, and they buy you pho or like Indian food, and you're like, okay. But yeah, people for some reason think I'm like racist against whites, but no, like white people are the coolest people, dopest to hang out with when you're like smoking. Cause like as an Asian growing up in San Francisco, I like never met white people. I had one Asian best friend. I mean, I had one white best friend. Sorry, I confuse the two races all the time, white and Asian, because they're like the same. But yeah, I had one white best friend in high school, but I don't talk to them anymore. But in college, they were like the dopest to like smoke with, because like you can tell their parents smoke and it's cool in their family and they don't have to hide it, and then they just know all the rules and everything, and you're just like, I'm gonna smoke with you one time and I'm gonna let flee the corner because you're like too cool for me, bro, you know. Okay, anyways, and then yeah, San Francisco was so high, like hyphy, and like everyone's stoned. And then like I remember it would just be like these nights where I would hang out with my friends, and of course we're drinking and smoking weed, and then there's nothing else to say besides we got really, really high, and can you imagine just like, it's a little bit strange explaining the experience. The nightly experience is just like, you're all in a room, sitting on the floor in a circle and you're not talking that much and you're just passing around the joint. And us Asians, we don't really play music, but we'll play a vid in the background, either a VHS tape or just some YouTube video on the laptop. And we kind of ignore it for a little while and we talk a little bit, but for the most part, it's like 8 hours of just like not really talking that much, just enjoying the vibe, which is so weird. And what that means is basically you're like enjoying your thoughts in your head so much because it's so creative. You're like an analytical person and it relaxes your thoughts and you just think about colors or you just think about like childhood, your childhood, and like if it was a good experience for you and like just stuff like that. And then you go out to eat, like either whatever's open, and or there's always 7-Eleven for beer and more beer and like snacks. Okay, and then all right, let's be a little bit uncool for a little bit on YouTube. So I guess the pink elephant in the room is just like people being like, I'm too awkward, like I don't want to go online. They're like, first of all, I don't want to show my face, I'm so ugly. And it's like, dude, no one cares how you look like. It's just all about content. And then they're like, but what if I stutter? And it's like, just don't worry about it. If you're a cool person, nothing's gonna happen. And then I kind of feel like stoning a lot like helped me out before like social situations. Just because you learn how to keep your mouth shut, and when you do speak, you say like the right thing because you thought about like 10 different things. And then yeah, it's just pretty much just like a get over it type of thing when people are just like, I'm too scared to like show video. It's just like, just get over it and just do it, like Nike Swish, just like get over it, just do it. And then I was gonna say like the word awkward is like the best way to like get in good graces with like older people, because I have learned that even older people in America, in the US, and in other countries know what the word awkward means. And everyone experiences that word in high school and they're just like, it's so funny because you already have a bond or like a connection over the word awkward because everyone knows what that means. So just like, I found out constantly thinking about awkward stuff or people or situations is fairly normal. And I'm gonna do like 25 minutes just because I watch it back and I like laugh at myself. But yeah, I haven't gone to sleep in like 3 days because my back really hurts, and like when I go to sleep at night for 8 hours, it like resets my whole body and I don't like it. So I just stay up and watch the fire or watch for animals per survivor, and then like in the afternoon when the rest of my family here is awake, that's when I take a nap. So yeah, they owe me. No, like for real though, like I just learned a lot of survival tactics from Survivor, just like learning how to like stay up at night, because like everyone goes to sleep all at the same time and it's so weird, like in group sessions, like when one person goes to sleep, everyone else goes to bed too, and you're like, what if like a bear eats you or like eats the food or like mauls the whole tent from the inside? What is you gonna do? And you're like half asleep and you're like being raked by like claws, bloody fangs, and you're like a 90-pound chick and you're like, help me, John. And I'm like, girl, you're on your own, I'm not going near the bear. They don't give you guns, like. No, I'm just joking. I would help. Even to my own derision, I would help the poor girl. I'd be like, throws body into it, you know? Okay. So 5 seconds. All right, I'm gonna like think about ideas and stuff. All right. Bye, YouTube. Thanks.